where in Canto 1, Chapter 7, last week we finished 13 to 14. Let's read the translation and move on to the next. When the respective warriors of both camps, namely the Kauravas and the Pandavas, were killed on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the dead warriors obtained their deserved destinations, and when the son of Dhritarashtra fell down lamenting, his spine broken, being beaten by the club of Bhimsena, the son of Dronacharya, Ashwadhama, beheaded the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi and delivered the heads as a prize to his master, foolishly thinking that he would be pleased. Duryodhana, however, disapproved of the heinous act, and he was not pleased in the least. So Ashwadhama wanted to please Duryodhana, who was dying after being beaten by Bhima. And even Duryodhana, the worst of mankind that he was, Duryodhana, right? Such a person, he was also disturbed by this act of killing all the 5 sons of Draupadi. So degraded was this so-called Brahmana, Ashwadhama. So Ashwadhama is not considered a Brahmana because he's not acted like a Brahmana, right? There's a particular word called Brahma Bandhu, which means those who are friends with Brahmanas. But a real Brahmana, he has no qualities to be called a Brahmana because he is so degraded. Not only did he kill uh, Arjuna's son, what's his name? Abhimanyu, in a cryptic way, in a crooked way. But in this case, even after the war is over, everything is done, the innocent 5 sons of Draupadi were also beheaded by this awful person. Text 15. Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Mata Shishuna Nidanam Sutanam Nashamya Goram Paritapyamana Tada Rudadvashpakalakulakshi Tasvantayanaha Kiritamali. Draupadi, the mother of the 5 children of the Pandavas, after hearing of the massacre of her sons, began to cry in distress with eyes full of tears. Trying to pacify her in her great loss, Arjuna spoke to her thus.
Okay, next verse.
Tada shuchaste pramujami bhadre yad brahmana bandho shir atatainah gandiva mukter pishikherupahare tvakramya yasnasyasi dagdhaputra. O gentle lady, when I present you with the head of that Brahmana, after beheading him with the arrows from my Gandiv bow, I shall then wipe the tears from your eyes and pacify you. Then, after burning your sons' bodies, you can take your bath standing on his head.
So that's the nature of a Kshatriya. Just like Draupadi was crying from the loss of her children, Arjun also felt the loss. But Arjun's way of showcasing the loss, men by nature, especially Kshatriyas, are of action. Men pretend to get satisfaction from a solution, from an action. Women, not all women, but women in general, tend to express the emotion and want to be acknowledged for their emotion, right? That's why often what happens is a woman does not need a solution. She has the brains to solve it, but she needs to be told, wow, that was hard on you. Oh, that must have been so horrible. I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. Like women like these kinds of reflective statements when they're going through a hard time. Whereas men, when they go through a hard time, they want to hear somebody telling them what to do, right? So action oriented versus emotion oriented. So in this case, Draupadi is broken down crying. Arjuna is feeling pain, but his way of making the wrong right is bringing the head of this so-called Brahma Bandhu, as you see in the Sanskrit, right? So-called Brahmana, his head, and that so that Draupadi, after doing the funeral of her children, she can take a bath standing on his head. That's the Kshatriya kind of attitude, that revenge. Okay, next.
इति प्रियावल्गुविचित्रजल्पे स सान्त्वयित्वाच्युतमित्रसुतः अन्वाद्रवदंशित उग्रधन्वा कपिध्वजो गुरुपुत्र रथेन. Arjuna, who is guided by the infallible Lord as a friend and driver, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. Then he dressed in the armor and armed himself with the furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwadhama, the son of his material teacher.
Thank you, Mataji. Arjuna, who is guided by infallible Lord as friend and driver, that is Krishna, thus satisfied the dear lady by such statements. So another thing is, the role of a man is to provide and to protect. One of the roles, right? Now, things might have reversed in Kali Yuga for in many cases, but generally speaking, women find assurance from the protective nature and the providing nature of a man. So here, that's what Arjuna is doing. Rather than breaking down and crying, he is standing up as, okay, I couldn't protect the children, but here I am to make the wrongs right. And that is how he's trying to satisfy Draupadi. Then he dressed in armor and armed himself with furious weapons, and getting into his chariot, he set out to follow Ashwadhama, the son of his martial teacher. So Ashwadhama is Dronacharya's son, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Dronacharya is a martial teacher. That means one who taught Arjuna and the Pandavas how to fight, martial arts, martial teacher. Okay, next verse.
तमापतन्तं सविलक्षदूरात् कुमारहोद्विग्नमनारथेन पराद्रवत्प्राणपरिपर्श उर्व्यं यावद्गमं रुद्रभयाद्यकथाक. Ashwadhama, the murderer of the princess, seeing from a great distance Arjun coming at him with great speed, fled in his chariot, panic stricken, just to save his life, as Brahma fled in the fear from Shiva.
Thank you, Matish. According to the reading matter, either Kaha or Arkaha, there are two references in Puranas. Kaha means Brahma, who once became allured by his daughter and began to follow her, which infuriated Shiva, who attacked Brahma with his trident. Brahma fled in fear of his life. As far as Arkaha is concerned, there's a reference in the Vamana Purana. There was a demon by the name Vidyunmali who was gifted with a glowing golden airplane which traveled to the back of the sun, and night disappeared. Whoa. And night disappeared because of the glowing effulgence of his plane. I'll read that one more time. There was a demon by the name Vidyunmali who was gifted with a glowing golden airplane which traveled to the back of the sun, and night disappeared because of the glowing effulgence of his plane. Thus the sun god became angry, and with his virulent rays he melted the plane. This enraged Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then attacked the sun god, who fled away and at last fell down as Kashi, Varanasi. And the place became known as Lorarka. Okay, two examples of Lord Shiva chasing and somebody running. Could be Lord Brahma, could be somebody with Vidyunamali. But the point is that When Ashwadhama saw Arjun coming, he started running for his life, panic stricken. He knew what was headed for him. And by the way, Arjun is still on the chariot. Krishna is still on the chariot. Okay, next verse.
यदा शरणमा आत्मनमेक्षत श्रान्तवाजिनम् अस्त्रब्रह्मशिरो मेने आत्मत्राणद्विजात्मजः. When the son of the Brahmana, Ashwadhama, saw that his horses were tired, he considered that there was no alternative for protection outside of his using the ultimate weapon, the Brahmastra, nuclear weapon.
So he decided to use the atom bomb. Let's see what happens now. Okay, next.
अथोपस्पृश्य सलिलं सन्दग्धे तत्समाहितम् अजाननपि संहारं प्राणिकृच्छ उपस्थिते. Since his life was in danger, he touched water in sanctity and concentrated upon the chanting of the hymns for throwing nuclear weapons, although he did not know how to withdraw such weapons.
So that was his last option. He was like, Arjun is going to kill me. My only option is using the nuclear weapon, which he didn't know how to retract. So even though to save his own life, he is willing to use such a weapon that can destroy. We know how nuclear weapons are, how much destruction they can bring forth. But a selfish person like him would not care. Okay, next.
ततः प्रादुष्कृततेजं प्रचण्डं सर्वतो दिशं प्राणापदमाभिप्रेक्षं विष्णुं जिष्णुरुवाचः. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fiery that Arjuna thought his own life is in danger, and so he began to address Lord Shri Krishna.
Okay. Seems like another Bhagavad Gita is starting. Arjuna Vacha. Yes.
Arjuna uvacha Krishna Krishna Mahabhavo Bhaktanam Bhayankarah Tvameko Tvameko Dayyamananam Apavargosi Sansrute. Arjuna said, O my Lord Shri Krishna, you are the Almighty Personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the heart of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only.
Okay. Next.
त्वमाद्यं पुरुषं साक्षाद्वीश्वर प्रकृते परः माया विदुस्य चिच्छकत्या केवल्ये स्थित आत्मनि. You are the original personality of Godhead who expand himself all over the creation and is transcendental to the material energy. You have cast away the effect of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in the eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge.
So Arjuna is now graduated from Bhagavad Gita, so he knows all these things and is speaking about Krishna in that way. Okay, continue.
स एव जीवलोकस्य मायामोहितचेतस विधत्से स्वेन वीर्येण श्रेयो धर्मादिलक्षणम्. And 8. Though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the four principles of the liberation characterized by the religion and so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls.
I'm just thinking, the atom bomb is showing such powerful flair, and Arjun is speaking with so much composure, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because he understands this is God. He can't just say, "Hey, Krishna, save me," right? So he's speaking with so much realization and reverence, as you see, to Krishna, with the prelude and everything else. He can easily say, "I'm scared, please help me." But he's rather glorifying Krishna and saying, "You are the one who takes away the fear and makes people fearless. You're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're this, you're that." So even the prayer part, when we pray to Krishna, even that act brings in fearlessness in the heart. When we remind ourselves who Krishna is and how protective he is of his devotees, even when we say it like that, when we say to Krishna, "Krishna, please give me this, give me that," that's one thing. But when we say, "Krishna, you can give anything you want. You're the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are Lakshmipati. You're this, you're that, you're this." That's a reminder to ourselves that, wow, Krishna can do anything. And that makes us a lot more uh, calm that, you know what? Yes, Krishna is there, and Krishna is there, and I am protected. I am okay. Even the act of prayer, even though Krishna is right in front of him, he is offering that to the Supreme Lord. Okay, have you read this, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Does you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of? No, we have not read this. Burden of
No,
the world
no.
and to benefit your friends, especially those who are. Please read this, Mataji.
Prabhuji, we have to read this.
Yes.
तथायं चावतारस्ते भुवो भारजीर्षया स्वानां चानन्यभावानाम् अनुध्यानाय चासकृत्. Thus, you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in the meditation upon you.
So this is coming from Bhagavad Gita. You descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world, right? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashasya duskritam dharma samsapadarthaya sambhavabhi yuge yuge. Like to benefit the devotees, to annihilate the miscreants, right? Your benefit your friends, that means the devotees, and burden of the earth, demons, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. To protect them, to benefit them, you descend as an avatar. Aparna, would you like to read 26?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kim idham swit kuto veti deva deva na vedamaham sarvato mukham ayati tejah praramam arunam. O Lord of Lords, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it.
No. So now finally Arjun, after all this prelude, is sharing to Krishna about his actual fear, which is the atom bomb that Ashwadhama has released. Right? It's dangerous effulgence is spreading all around. So where is this coming from? So, but he had this time to do the prelude, which I am like very impressed. It's just like Bhagavad Gita. Shri Bhagavadu Vacha. Okay, who wants to read? Okay, anybody wants to read? I don't want to.
I will.
Please go ahead.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha Vetedam Drona
Putrasya.
Putrasya Brahmastram Pradarshitam Naivasau Veda Samharam Pranabadha Upastite. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drone. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death.
Okay, thank you, bro. So Krishna has, Krishna understands that this is an act of helplessness, because he has no other option left. He's kind of, his back is to the wall. So what does he do? He has one last option to survive, and that's what he's doing. And he doesn't know how to retract it. Okay. Next verse.
न यस्यान्यतं किञ्चिदस्त्रं प्रत्यावक्ष्रस्नं जयस्त्रतेज उन्नतम् अस्त्रज्ञो अस्त्रतेजसा. Translation: O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon.
So Krishna is reminding Arjuna. Arjun should know, right, what military science he knows. But sometimes when we are in panic attack, we forget who we are. We forget what we have. Like in Hanuman's case, it was a curse that he could never remember all the powers he had. He had to be reminded because of what he did as a child with the sun, right? So, but in this case, Arjuna is in panic attack. So Krishna is reminding him, "Oh Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you're an expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon." Okay. Aparna, would you like to read?
1.7.29 Sut uvaच श्रुत्वा भागवत प्रोक्तं फलगुणा परवित्रः स्पृशवपस्तं परिक्रम्य ब्राह्मं ब्रह्मास्त्रं साधते. Sri Suta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord, thank you, Lord Sri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one.
So this is a difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. A non-devotee depends only on what their prowess is, their credit is. A devotee always depends on Krishna. It's very, very important that it's, no matter how powerful you are, you're Arjuna, you're Bhishma, you're great. But a devotee is somebody who does not get intoxicated by that power. He depends on Krishna. He understands it's coming from Krishna, especially now that Arjun has been through the Bhagavad Gita and he has won the battle. Right? So it's very clear to him the Supreme Personality of Godhead not only is his friend, but also keeps his word and stands up for his devotees. Krishna has taken arrows for him. Krishna has, broken his promise for Arjuna. So Arjuna is very clear who Krishna is. So for Arjun, this is like he's worshiping Krishna. If you look at it, pradakshanam is something you do at the temple, right? When you go to a temple, you do the circumambulation of the temple of the deities. So he's doing that. He's very clear in his mind who is God, right? And the fortune that he is having God on his chariot. And although he can just pick up his weapon and shoot, he's offering respects to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Snehal Mataji, would you like to read the next verse? Okay. Oh, she might have. slipped away. Okay. Aparna?
1.7.30 Samhatyanyoyam ubhayostejasi sarasamvrite avritya rudasi khamscha vavdhater rikavanvithat. When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets.
When the rays of two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, whoa, like the disk of the sun. I'm just imagining the mushroom cloud. So two mushroom clouds, colliding. Two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of the planets. Imagine that. Wow. I mean, two massive atom bombs, enough to destroy the planet itself. Okay, next verse. Anybody wants to read?
1.7.31 Drisht Vastra Tejastutayos Trilokan Pradahan Mahat Dahaya Pajahas Savaha Samvatakam Amam Sata. All the population of the three worlds are scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire which takes place at the time of um, annihilation.
Annihilation. Thank you very much. So we have heard of the Samvartaka clouds that Indra sends during annihilation. We're also hearing about Samvartaka fire. So when the universe ends, like this Samvartaka was mentioned during Govardhan Leela. So when Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, uh, Indra had sent all the powerful clouds to completely, inundate Vrindavan, and Samvartaka was one of those clouds. So from that, I'm remembering the name Samvartaka, but here I'm hearing Samvartaka fire, which probably is like massive fire. So the universe, during partial annihilation, the Anantasesh, from all the hoods of Anantasesh, fire comes out and it kind of takes over the lower planetary systems, and only the upper planetary system is there. Then Lord Shiva's dance. There's so much description. Bhagavatam will talk about it, but I'm just giving you a glimpse. That's what annihilation looks like. Hopefully, we won't be there. Okay, yeah. Next verse.
1.7.32 Prajopatram alaksya lokavyajitakaram cha tam matam cha vasudevasya sanjarajano dvyayam. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons, as Lord Sri Krishna desired.
Okay. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace, the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both the Brahmastra weapons. Okay. So he was able to basically nullify with his Brahmastra the another Brahmastra, is what I'm understanding. But it's important to understand, although Arjuna did it, Arjun first glorified Krishna, circumambulated Krishna with Krishna's instruction, then he acts on this, right? And although it seemed like a long time, I'm sure it happened in a very, very quick way between the two of them, and then things were taken care of. So it doesn't go out of hand. Yeah. Next.
1.7.33 तत आसत्य तरस दारुणं गौतमीसुतं ब- बबन्धर्मर्ष तां राक्षसः पशुं रजनया यथ. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal.
Wow. Arjun, his eyes blazing in anger, like two red balls of copper. Imagine two red balls of copper. Dexterously arrested the son of Gautami. And so Gautami is the mother of Ashwadhama and bound him with ropes like an animal. Whew. Very, very graphic. Okay, next.
1.7.34 Sibiraya Ninisantam Rajva Bhatparipumbalat Raharjunam Prakupito Bhagavan Ambujeksanah. After binding Ashwathama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in an angry mood.
Okay, next.
1.7.35 Menam partharhasi tratum brahma bandhum imam jahi yotsav anagasahasuktam avadhin nisipalakan. Lord Sri Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep.
So Krishna is very clear. He does not even refer to him as a Brahmana because killing a Brahmana is a great sin, right? But this person has not acted like a Brahmana. Like I mentioned, the word Brahma Bandhu, Krishna is using that word, that Arjuna, you show no mercy. You should not show mercy by releasing the relative of a Brahmana because Arjun's heart is soft. So he's a devotee. So devotees are by nature forgiving, just like Arjuna at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. He's like, you know what? Yes, they have done all wrong things to me all throughout our lives, but I want to just let them enjoy the kingdom and I want to go and beg, right? Krishna is like, no, you got to fight. So same way, Krishna knows Arjun's heart. He's a devotee. He's by nature forgiving. So Krishna is saying, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. That's the worst one can do, right? I mean, Kshatriyas fight with each other face to face, not at night also. What to speak of from behind, they can't even attack. And these little boys were sleeping. And that's when this horrible human being came and attacked them and killed them. Okay.
1.7.36 Mattam pramatam anmatam suptam balam striyam jadam prapanam viratham vitam naripum hanti dharmavid. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill any enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot, nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul.
So, as I was saying, principles of Kshatriya Dharma, right? A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who's careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. See, this Kshatriya Dharma was followed even till a few hundred years ago, right? That is why the Mughals were able to get in to India because of great kings who would follow this Kshatriya Dharma, and they would actually be, gentlemen. And who are you dealing with? You're dealing with the worst of mankind. People who are thugs and murderers, and they're just criminals, basically. Criminals who have been able to acquire other criminals. And India, the land of gold, right? They wanted to attack. So a bunch of criminals who have no ethics whatsoever. And here, this Aryan great kings had great sense of ethics and Kshatriya, and they were still following the Mahabharat, the religious principles. And thus, they fell prey to this horrible, horrible murderers and looters. And for 1,000 years, we had to suffer because of this. So in Kali Yuga, it is important to understand why Kali Yuga. Even if we look at the Mahabharata itself, what happened with this person, uh, Karna? Karna's chariot got stuck. He was without a chariot. And by the same principle, Karna should not have been killed. But what did Krishna show? Krishna showed that here is Karna. He has not followed, few days ago, he killed Abhimanyu. He has not followed Dharma. And the curse of his guru, because he lied to his guru, Parashurama, who taught him all the weapons. And his guru's curse had to come true. That when the most important war of his life would happen, he would forget all the mantras to pick up all the weapons. And Karna had to be killed because Karna supported the killing of Draupadi, or rather the disrobing of Draupadi, right? Uh, so here Krishna, taking all those things into account, told Arjun, kill. Here is Karna. Although his chariot is stuck, kill him. It is important to understand this same Krishna is speaking here that by religious principles, you can't kill somebody without a chariot. Yet he did it. So, what does it show? Religion is not blind, right? These laws and rules are not blind. They have to be applied to the right person at the right time in the right possible way. And that is why we see Srila Prabhupada, an Acharya, he took all these wonderful religious principles, but he understood how Americans and Europeans are, how India is following Americans and Europeans, how Kali Yuga is progressing. And within that system, he created ISKCON, where without breaking the religious principles, he has made them, adjusted them according to time, place, and circumstance. As a result, we see brahmacharinis, right? There are women who are doing altar worship, which in India till today people are like very hesitant or doesn't happen rather. But if you see ISKCON temples around the world, women are on the altar doing pujari service, they're getting Brahmana Diksha, so they're empowered. And that is not against religious principles. It is just that in society, this is not seen as a right thing, but in the Western world, men and women are equal, and Prabhupada went and applied this principle, and he get equal weightage to men and women. That way, the Hare Krishna movement spread very quickly and was very acceptable to the Western crowd. So it is important to understand we should not be blindly religious. Religion has its application. The principle is important, but the application is according to time, place, and circumstance. Just like I gave the silly example of a woman running, and there is a man with a dagger behind the woman, right? And you tell the woman, okay, take shelter in my house. And you tell the dagger man that woman went that way. Is that a lie? Yes, it is a lie. Is that the right thing to do according to Dharma? Yes, because higher than lying is protecting a life. And one has done so, right? Rather than just sitting there and watching and taking pictures that people do today, it is important one takes action. And in that action, one might have to take shelter of a lie or something for a higher purpose, right? Where a life is in danger. So Krishna is saying this, and the same Krishna also was instrumental in killing Karna. The same Krishna was also instrumental in killing the father of Ashwadhama, Dronacharya, Ashwadhama Hatayati Gajam, right? He made sure that that statement, Ashwadhama Hatha, comes from somebody who's never lied in his life, so it is believable. Because Krishna lies, Krishna cheats, Krishna steals butter, and Krishna's reputation is not very good. But when Yudhishthir Maharaj says so, son of Dharmaraj, right, son of Dharma, when he says Ashwadhama is dead, Ashwadhama's father Dronacharya accepts Ashwadhama must be dead, and he breaks down, and then Drishtadyumna can come and kill him. Or is Drishtadyumna somebody else? names get messed up. But anyway, you get the point. So religious principles are there, intelligence is also there, time, place, and circumstance is also there. So it is important we don't become fanatics. What do fanatics do? Fanatics follow only the rules and regulations. As devotees, as intelligent devotees who understand the essence of the purpose and the intent. The intent of Krishna is what? Right? And based on that, we act. So just like that example of Srila Prabhupada, right? He was in Surat, and this wealthy woman had cooked all day for Srila Prabhupada and his disciples. When they sat down to honor prasadam, one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada tasted the dal, and there was onion in it. And he told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, don't eat. There is onion in it. Prabhupada said, just shut up and eat. Right? What was the intent there? That this family, they've cooked all day, they've put in so much effort to serve these wonderful devotees, when everybody else, everywhere else was like mlechas, white people. Here in Surat, they were glorifying the, Srila Prabhupada's movement, and there was an influential man, his wife is cooking and everything. Prabhupada understood the heart is in the right place. They might not know every nuance. They might have mistakenly put onion in it. And he said, just have it. And everybody silently had the dal with onion in it. So the principles are very, very important. The intent, understand Krishna's intent, what he wants from these following the rituals. Because only rituals makes us fundamentalist. Spirituality is a lot more than rituals. Rituals are important. When things are right, rituals are important. But there are always exceptions, and our brain should function to apply those principles in such a way that we serve Krishna's purpose. So Krishna's purpose in Karna's place was to fulfill the curse of his guru Parshuram. It is also to right the wrong which Karna had done, which is insulting a woman like Draupadi and killing unjustly someone like a 16-year-old boy like Abhimanyu. So all those things, with that in mind, Krishna tells Arjun, kill him. Right? So it's important that we also use our intelligence and not become doormats for anyone. We must have our self-esteem. Devotees are humble. Humble doesn't mean doormat. Humble means I am tiny, insignificant. Krishna is great. That doesn't mean you got to walk all over me. Right? So it's very important that as devotees, we learn to apply the principles and understand the Supreme Lord's intent. And if you don't understand, ask, right? Ask me, and I'll be happy to help you understand what the intention is when Krishna says something. And we should understand that. Thereby, we understand Krishna, and thereby, we are able to follow Krishna's instructions nicely. Okay. Moving on to the next verse.
1.7.37 Swaprananyah parapranayah prapusnati agranah kalah tadvadastasya hi shreyo yaddosadyatyadhah punam. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions.
So often we have this debate about is death penalty the right thing or not, right? And often we don't know which way to weigh on. What is the Krishna conscious answer? So here is a Krishna conscious answer coming from Krishna himself in Shrimad Bhagavatam or Mahabharata. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Why? Because if he lives, he will keep killing others. And guess what? For every life he takes, not only is he causing trouble for others, he's causing trouble for himself. He will have to take birth and die, have to take birth and die, have to take birth and die for every life he kills. Hitler, Lenin, People like that were responsible for killing millions and millions of people. You think one death is enough for them? No. They're going to take birth over and over and over and over and over again and die in the same way their victims have died. So it is, for their own well being that they should be stopped and they should be killed. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions. His karma is far worse for him, and of course, it is bad for others. That goes without even saying. Yes, Prayash.
Prabhuji, the one who is actually judging, if he gives a death penalty to a prisoner, so like, does he get any kind of karma, regardless of if the judgment is right or wrong, morally, ethically, and scripturally?
What do you
That,
think?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I feel
If
like
the
they might
is
get some.
wrong, yes, of course, he gets the karma. In fact, it is said the king of the land. So right now we're modern system of court and judges, but I'm talking from the Vedic perspective. The king of the land generally accepts 1/6 of the karma of his citizens. So it is his responsibility to keep his citizens sattvic, or else all the wrongdoings that the citizens do, 1/6 of that, and the good things as well, comes to the king. This applies to the leader, the CEO, the prime minister, the judge, right? Given what you're working on. So, yes, according to that principle, I'm just extrapolating it. I might be wrong, but yes, some karma must come to the judge if he does wrong judgment, or if he's taken bribes, or if he has not looked at his evidences, or not done his duty of due diligence. Yes, he is bound to have the karma. It's a very
Prabhuji,
scary
in
place
terms
to
of,
be.
let's say, if he does right judgment, that means like he gives death penalty to someone, in any kind of situation, like like for example, let's say it's the right decision, would he get any kind of karma or not, because it's the right decision?
If it's the right decision, again, I don't know. It depends on the person's intent. If they're being just a judge and that's their job, that's what they do, right? If the person has, so according to the scriptures, he should not get any karma, because death penalty is applicable to those who are killing others. It's actually act of mercy to kill such a person, because if they live, they will continue to kill others, thereby increasing their karmic bank account in a very, very negative way. So to stop them, they have to be killed or put in life imprisonment or whatever else that it takes to stop them. But at least the life imprisonment doesn't take away the act of killing. So if that person has killed someone, they would have to be killed, and if they are hanged to death or whatever else, then that gets nullified. So they have a fresh start from next life. Right now, this can get complex. So don't ask me nitty-gritty questions, because it really depends on the situation, the judge. There are so many situations where so many innocent people have to suffer, right, in the justice system. So I can't answer that question with full clarity, because karma by itself is a mystery, a mysterious process, right? We can only understand it's a just process. It's absolutely specific to the person, and only they know, right?
Prabhuji,
Their
can
action.
I can I give you a specific example?
Mhm.
So let's say there is an extremist chief minister who is saying that he is upholding dharma, and then he is, let's say, executing people. So does he get any kind of karma?
Of course, of course,
Okay.
tremendous karma.
I mean, even if he, is, let's say, executing murderers and, people who has done wrong things to some
Oh,
extent.
oh, oh, oh! Rightfully, you're saying. You said
I mean,
extremist. You said extremist chief minister.
extremist chief minister.
Okay, one more time. Ask the question.
S- So basically, extremist means like, you know, somebody does something wrong and then straight away they are executing them.
Oh, acha, acha, like that. It's not extremist. Uh, See, also
You
without,
understand who I'm talking about, right? I'm
I'm
just not
understanding you're
naming them.
talking about who. So killing someone without checking the evidence leaves room for executing the wrong person. That might be right, sometimes might not be right, right? So just because somebody has been pointed as a murderer or a rapist or a mafia, and they're being encountered, you're talking about encounter justice, right? So, okay, if that person has done it and they have been justly ended, or rather neutralized, they say, right? Okay, fine. What if that person is not, right? And that's why there's a court of law. That's why there is the evidence justice system and everything else, right? So you can't be 100% sure. And it's important that laws are followed, because it's a protection system, not only for the criminal, but also for the so-called chief minister or judge or whoever you're talking about, because they will get karma if somebody is unjustly killed, which happens a lot. See, Lord Ramachandra himself has done this, right? There was somebody who had unjustly hurt, I forget, it's a dog or something. I think a dog came to Lord Ramachandra, and that dog was tortured and something, and the dog could speak. And Lord Ramachandra called for this other person, and there was, but there was no death penalty there. There was, I think, similar amount of pain was, uh, done for this person. But Lord Ramachandra's words were that the dog is a citizen, right? So, not just humans. The Vedic system is the king is a protector of all living beings, not just the humans, right? So the dog, the cow, the goats, everybody has to be protected for so this whole thing about uh, governments funding slaughterhouses and whatnot, they are only focused on the human race because they vote. And what about the animals who don't vote? No protection for
They
them.
don't pay tax.
They don't pay taxes, there's no protection, they don't vote, so nothing for them. So again, we are in Kali Yuga. We can't expect Vedic system to be in place. Having said that, who are devotees, we must know to apply the principles of Dharma at the right place, at the right time, in the right way, and not be blind about it and be stiff about it. We have to be dynamic because it's Kali Yuga, right? That doesn't mean we rationalize lawlessness, we rationalize illicit activities, we rationalize false statements. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when things are not exactly how it should be, we need to use our brain and use dharmic principles accordingly. I've been asked to speak in Durgapur on vigilance. This was Vigilance Day they're celebrating. So SAIL India, Steel Authority of India, they've asked me to speak. And my topic I've given them is Dharma Rakshata Iti Rakshate. That if you protect Dharma, Dharma shall protect you, right? So, how to understand? So this is some content for me as well. I was thinking, so this is good content for me. That this is how these things work, and we have to be intelligent about it. How to practice dharma intelligently. Okay, so I'll end it here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, and happy Dasara to all of you. Happy Vijaya Dashami to all of you as it's coming up. I hope you've had a good Durga Puja Navaratri, and let's pray to Durga Devi that she can somehow release us from her clutches of Maya and give us access. So she moves out of the way so Krishna can come and give us Krishna Prema. So with that, I'll end it here. Thank you very much. See you next Friday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.